Hey everyone, I'm Todd Wayne along with Anna Gatlin from Sixth Sense Paranormal. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Paranomaly Podcast, home for all things paranormal and supernatural. And coming up on this episode, we're talking to Laura Copp with Palo Duro Paranormal. I hope I said that right. I probably killed it. They're located in Amarillo, Texas, and in Potter and Randal County. The group was founded in 2008, and it's comprised of 9 team members. They've been searching for answers to the paranormal and activity and phenomena from it ever since. So grab yourself a drink and a snack, turn the lights off on the way back, find yourself a comfy spot, and enjoy this episode of Paranomaly. Stay with us. All right. How's it going, everyone?
Going good.
All right. Laura, you there?
I'm here.
All right. Good. So how you doing, Laura?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. And Anna, how are you today?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I am doing fine, thank you. And thank you so much for kicking it with this last-minute thing for us.
You're so welcome. She was right on it, so I think she deserved it.
Oh, good. So, Laura, thank you for coming on in such short notice. And, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you started in the paranormal?
Thank you for having me. I have always been really interested in the paranormal ever since I was a kid. My mom and I would watch paranormal shows on TV, and I was always super into it. That I knew that's what I wanted to do, and just never really had the opportunity until somewhat recently. I met our group leader, Tanya, through work and joined the group and have been participating as much as possible ever since.
Oh, that's fantastic. So in the paranormal spectrum of things, how long have you been researching?
I've probably been researching for 20 years now. It was about 10 when I started getting really into it. And so I've researched it and tried to learn as much as I could. But I've only been in a group for about a year.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
All right here. Let me see here. Got to fix this.
Did I lose you guys?
Go ahead. What was that?
I don't know if it was my phone, but everything just cut out.
I know. That's what I just had, that same problem. I'm like, what is going on?
That's so weird.
All right. Quit with the Ouija boards over there, all right?
Yeah.
All right. So, do you own this group, Laura?
No, I am a member of the group. My best friend is the leader.
Oh, okay. All right. So what's some of the biggest places that you've investigated?
We do a lot of home investigations, but probably the biggest place we've done has been the Worley Hospital in Pampa. That's a fairly famous place from what I understand, because I had heard all about it before I ever even moved out to the Panhandle. And we also did the Old Park Hotel in Ballinger recently, which was a fantastic experience.
So tell us a little bit about Worley State Hospital.
So Worley State Hospital is in Pampa, Texas, which is a small little town out here in the Panhandle, about 45 minutes away from Amarillo. It used to be a lot bigger, and the town had kind of everything. It was an oil town. It boomed for a while around in between World War I and World War II. And so they opened their own hospital up, and that slowly sort of dried up as the people left the town for more job interviews. There are lots of different experiences that people have there, but kind of the biggest one is an apparition of a nurse who people believe killed herself around World War II. And then there is a black shadow kind of crawler that people will see while they are walking around the hospital.
Oh,
Dude,
wow.
tell me more about that.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah, so I saw this, which was really cool. I think it was my first like really big major thing that I ever saw. It's just kind of a black humanoid figure that will crawl across the ground, and I've heard that it will crawl across the ceiling as well. But most people see it just kind of shooting in between rooms or down hallways.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
and there's nothing really malicious there. Like you go in,
it's not
it doesn't
threatening.
have it's not threatening. I think a lot of people are kind of freaked out by it because when you see like a black shadow figure, you kind of assume it's going to be something bad. But the hospital, it doesn't have a bad feel to it. It doesn't feel threatening. Like you go inside and you don't feel like that stress feeling, like the tightness in your chest you get when you go somewhere where there's like a negative entity. You don't really get that there.
Well, what was the hospital? What was it for?
It was just the local hospital for the medical needs of the people of Pampa. So anyone that was, having a baby or needed medical treatment would go to the Worley.
Do you know what the date was that it was founded?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
I can look it up though.
No, that's all right. I was just curious if it, if it had something to do with like, the Wild West or anything.
It did not. I do know that off the top of my head. Of course, the Wikipedia page isn't going to pull up, but it didn't have anything to do with the Wild West. It was like the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. That's interesting. It sounds like someplace that Anna would definitely go to. I'd be too scared.
Yeah.
It's a really cool place. The ghost hunters have been there, and a couple of other famous paranormal teams have gone there as well.
Yeah, so definitely. And you was just there, you said, right?
I was there October? I think in October.
Awesome. So you got some pretty good evidence then.
I think so. We got a few really cool pictures. We didn't get a ton of EVPs. But the SLS camera was acting up. We got pictures of what looks like a person walking down a hallway, which was really exciting. And then a lot of personal experiences, which I don't necessarily consider evidence because I can't prove that.
Right.
Sure, exactly.
There's no way to debunk that personal experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Now, tell me about you said about a hotel that you had?
Old Park Hotel.
The Old Park Hotel. It's in Ballinger, Texas, in between, it's near Abilene.
Near where?
Near Abilene.
Okay.
It's also in Texas. It's exclusively for rent by paranormal investigators at this point. You rent out the whole hotel, and you can stay there for a night or a weekend. And it is crazy active. It's probably one of the coolest places I've ever been. And even as I was driving away, I was just like, I can't wait to go again. Like, I want to go back right away.
Oh my God.
There's something about it that is just like it draws you in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like that feeling where you're getting pulled in and excited and all that at the same time.
Exactly.
So you said this was just for now paranormal investigators, like to rent out like the whole hotel?
It is. Yeah, you rent out the whole hotel. It's been around a couple hundred years. It went through like the Wild West phase. It was a brothel at one point. I think it's been a brothel at a couple of different points. is like right across the street from the courthouse in town, and it is a wild and interesting place.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited just hearing about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I recommend that anybody go there. Absolutely.
And with it having so much historical, because I'm reading right now on the Old Park Hotel, 1886. So yes. that's awesome. That's definitely
it's been through some stuff.
What was that, Anna?
I said it sounds like it's definitely been through some stuff.
It definitely has been. There's like a basement that no one can get into, which who even knows what that was used for. People have died there. There's a restaurant now. It was a tavern or a saloon back in the day. Somebody shot a gun from the balcony of the saloon, kind of across the street, like catty corner, and killed somebody on the front, like the front stoop of the hotel. And there's just, when you go there, the owner has so many good stories to tell, and he's so knowledgeable about the location and about paranormal investigation, and it's amazing.
And was you was there, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about this doll.
Yes.
The doll, which one? There's a whole room of dolls, but
there's one here.
Are you on their Facebook page?
I think no. I'm on their main website. It talks about a Jenny, a porcelain doll.
Yeah, that's what I'm just looking at.
Jenny. Okay. Yeah. So they have a whole room of dolls, and I believe he said that 9 of them are cursed. Several of them, they have little stories that go along with them. So you go and you read it and you're like, this doll was owned by a woman who, like, she was beaten to death by her husband. And ever since that happened, like, weird things have happened around the doll. It's a creepy clown doll that will move its arms. And one of the dolls, and I can't remember her name, it might be Jenny. I could be wrong though. But like when you kind of stare at her, it feels like the world is like moving in a way it shouldn't. Like it feels like her face is warping and like things are just kind of like moving in and out.
Wow.
So
did you catch great evidence? Oh, sorry, Todd.
No, go ahead.
What kind of evidence did you catch?
We had more of the shadow figures. We would all, or like sometimes we would all be downstairs and there would be footsteps upstairs. Shadows.
Did you ever try to debunk them?
We did. So we would move around upstairs. Somebody would stay upstairs and like sit in a doorway and kind of like move around in a room. And we weren't able to like recreate the sound of somebody walking up the stairs or walking down that hallway. The way that it would sound when we were downstairs.
So tell us that you did camp out in that room.
So I didn't camp out in the doll room. There is a yellow room. It's got like a little kind of setting area, and then like a second half of the room that is like where the bed is and the dresser and all that. And the owner told us, that's Dan LaFave. He's super cool. He told us that about half the time, people that stay in that room, they'll just like bail in the middle of the night. Like they'll pack their shit and go.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And like, or like sleep in the car or just go home. And I was like, oh, that's where I'm gonna stay. So I stayed in that room and I felt something. I was like in a little closet area and I felt something grab me like right around where my bra strap sits. I know you don't know where that is, Todd.
I do.
And something grabbed me like right around where my bra strap sits. And it was like, I was standing up against a wall, so there's nobody behind me. And And so that, obviously I can't prove that, but that was very cool. And then on our second night there, I was fixing to go to bed because we were going to have to get up in the morning and drive back to Amarillo. And so we went to bed around 2:00. And so I was fixing to go to bed. I took my shirt off, started changing into my pajamas, and something twisted the doorknob really loud. So I burst out into the hallway, no shirt on.
Wow.
And there was, because I was like, I don't know if someone's like screwing with me or what. So I just, no shirt, burst into the hallway, and there was nobody in the hallway. And I was like, that was crazy. And that was one of the things that Dan said happens there, is like the spirits will like twist the doorknobs to mess with people.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm ready to go.
Right?
So, in this house, have you gotten EVPs and things like that?
In my house?
No, in this hotel.
Oh, in the hotel, we got a couple. I need to send them to you. I have to get them because I don't have them on my computer, but I can send them over to you probably tomorrow. We had a couple. We had, at one point, we got what sounded like "fuck off."
Oh,
and
nice.
I was like, "Oh, okay." We were with some other people, and they were like, "What are you trying to say?" And I'm just like, "Are you telling us to fuck off?" And
wow.
obviously, we didn't leave. And a lot of it there was also the personal experiences, which I find is the way it goes. Sometimes you'll be like, we had to have gotten something so good on our audio recorder or on our cameras because just so much happened. And then you start listening to it, and it's just like, no, there's nothing there.
It happens.
Yeah. So what else have you investigated there?
So those are the only public locations that I've investigated. The group has done the Army surplus store that we have here in town and a couple of local businesses. But a lot of what we do is we'll go to people's houses. People will call us for, the scratching, or they'll hear voices. So we'll go and like do a camp out at their house.
I love residential cases. That's what I focused on in my career in the paranormal. I've done so many. I've done hundreds. That and business locations. So if I compile them together, it's probably close to 150 places I did over the years. But I love doing the client-based type things. Of course, I like to go. I'll go to Waverly Hills or wherever. I mean, I'm open for that. But I think that my forte is private residential places.
I really like the private residential places too. With the locations, a lot of them are, advertising that they're haunted, and they're like, "Oh, this is a haunted location. Come investigate it." And so you never really know, are they helping it along?
Right.
And I'm not saying that anywhere that I've been has helped it along, anything like that. But it's always kind of in the back of your mind, like, they want people to know this is a haunted location. Are they going to, help you get evidence? So you'll go tell other people it's a haunted location.
Sure.
So is it like a legend around the area, like a myth or old wives' tales?
Yeah, we have, there's an old elementary school, and there's this rumor, like wives' tale story, that like a janitor killed himself in the the boiler room.
Oh wow!
So everyone thinks that place is super haunted, and there's nothing there. That story never happened, and people are just like they'll like hear the air conditioner go off and be like, "Oh, it's the man in the boiler room," and and it's not.
Yeah,
Did you find any of them that were true?
I haven't found any that are true in our area.
I was about to say, girl, you say you found one that's true. I want to know exactly which one it is.
the wild thing about Amarillo is we're in the Wild West, and a lot of terrible things surely happened here.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of the opinion that like there's just something bad about the land in Amarillo that causes some of the hauntings that we have here. And there's not a whole lot we can do about that.
Right.
That's just, we can't cleanse a house when it's the land that's bad.
Right.
Right. And that's a very good way to look at it, because you're talking about land that has a history of like Native American feuding.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
So I mean, there's a whole big component right there.
Mm-hmm. And if they did any burials or anything like that, everybody knows if you're a paranormal investigator, you don't mess with that.
You don't mess with that. But land developers don't really care about that.
No, they don't.
No. Land developers, they just want that money.
Mm-hmm.
They just want that money. They don't care what happened before.
Exactly.
So
desecrate something, they don't even care.
So how would you know if there was like Indian massacres on there? Would you have to go to like the who would you call for that?
You just have to go and look at the land records and kind of see if there's any kind of history of it. Look at old maps, try and find old historical records. But that sort of stuff is just, it's almost impossible to prove. Like, we all know it happened here.
Oh, but look, me and Anna's coming over. We're going to grab shovels and we're going to find out. We're going to get to the bottom of it.
Absolutely. You guys should have come out when I was in my old house. My old house, even as a paranormal investigator, I had to move because it was so haunted and I couldn't handle the activity.
Oh, please. We want details.
Oh, yeah.
So I bought a foreclosure when I moved to town because I have dogs and renting is just really difficult with dogs. So I was like, I'll just buy a house. And so I bought a house kind of on the outskirts of town. And like, even as I was buying it, I had a weird feeling about the house. But I was like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. Whatever. I'm just going to ignore my gut and I'm just going to buy this house. And so I bought the house, and like I found that I was obsessing over like little tiny things like the paint or the carpet, whatever. And then I would change it and everything would be better for a while. But I was having these just crazy nightmares where I would see like a drowned woman like crawling over walls.
Oh, wow.
Yes, like in my bedroom, there was like a weird little kind of cutout. I don't know how to describe it because I've never seen anything else like it in any other house I've ever been in. But it was like kind of a half wall, and I would see, like, I would have nightmares and see like a kind of looked like the Grudge woman, but like skin rotting off, the gray of like a drowned person, just like climbing over the walls. So I called a psychic to come out. And I didn't really tell her what was going on, didn't give her any ideas. I was just like, I think there's something going on in my house.
Yeah, I never tell any psychics or anything like that at all.
Yeah, I just like figure it out. Like I think I've got a problem. See if you can figure it out. And she went to the exact spot where I was having the nightmares, being like, there's like a woman's spirit here. And she would like go around the house and like point out things that like this used to be this way and this used to be this way and this happened here. And I was like, well, that's really weird. Like, I'm gonna look into that. And she was like, I think there was, domestic violence in this house. And I was like, oh, that's good. That's wonderful. And so I started talking to my neighbors and was kind of like, hey, like, what were the people like before I moved in? And there was domestic violence in every family that had lived in that house.
Oh, wow. Me. So there,
and
do you think, was that spirit wise? Do you think that everyone that moved in there was being, I would kind of say like not possessed, but they had some kind. Yeah, definitely. Do you think that's what caused it?
Yeah, I think so. And I had cabinets. Cabinets would start slamming. Things would disappear. Things would break, and like it was freaking the dogs out, and it was just constant. And I was like, I've cleansed the house. I've had psychics come. And it wasn't anything like super dramatic, like, the walls collapsing down or anything. But it was enough that I was like, I can't keep living here with my dogs. So I made the decision to move, and things just went absolutely wild. And like, the cabinets were always slamming. Things were breaking, falling off of shelves. And then
no, wait,
a weekend.
You said that you moved.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then things got wild. I'm confused. Did things get wild at this new place?
I made the decision to move. And then, like, I guess the house knew. I don't know. But as soon as, like, I made the decision, like, I'm moving out of this house, things went wild.
Wow. Okay.
And then about a week and a half before I moved out, probably, I was sleeping. It was middle of the night. And I heard a tornado siren going off. And I woke up and I was like, oh, what the hell? It's a tornado siren, because we don't have those here. We don't have tornado sirens for whatever reason. And it was coming from the hallway outside of my bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And so I called the group and I was, hey, guys, I want to see if we can figure out what's going on here before I leave. So we did like a full investigation at my house. We went to go get tacos at one point, and then somebody was sitting in front of the house, and we're like, they called and they're like, hey, is there anybody in your house? And it was like, no, like we all went out to get tacos. And there were like shadows going in front of the window. And I was like, well, my dogs are there. And they're like, no, it was people sized. So we set up cameras, had the audio recorders going, had all of our equipment. Every single piece of equipment failed. All of the data was corrupted.
Wow.
Oh, man.
The audio recorders, the cameras, all of it.
I mean, was it full out like cameras, the batteries are dead?
No, the batteries
like everything
failed. The batteries were still working. Things were recording. But then when we went to take all of the stuff off the camera, everything was corrupted, from all of the voice recorders, all of the cameras. And I was like, maybe it's maybe it's the equipment. So I would try to like record stuff on my equipment. That was my personal equipment. It records. I sat in my office and recorded on my audio recorder. That recording worked. I recorded on my camera. That worked. It was just the recordings from the night that we did the investigation at my house.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
And then I got out of there.
So where are you now?
I'm still in town. I'm just on the other side of town. So
I want to get as far away from that.
Pretty much. We actually did an investigation at a private residence about 3 streets over from my old house that was having similar activity as well.
So don't
you? Gotta be the land.
Yeah, don't you worry about like going to somebody's house and then getting an attachment, bringing it home, and then everything starting up all over again?
I'm constantly worried about that. My boyfriend worries about that. But I'm just like, I'm a professional. It'll be fine. and we're careful. Yeah, we use the holy water. We cleanse ourselves. We're careful before we go to an investigation. Like if someone's feeling wrong, like depressed or just like not feeling like themselves, but like you got to stay home today. Like you can't come to this investigation. Like I'll bring visitors home every once in a while. They'll just I'll just like have like a passerby come and like open a door, like knock, be like, hi, I'm here. And I'm just like, go away. We're not doing this again. And It's never been anything that stayed.
Well, that's definitely a plus. I mean, you don't want to go back to that same.
No, definitely not.
So tell me, have you in your encounters doing private residential clients, have you had anything demonic happen?
Just don't ask.
There's a house that we went to that we got growled at. We got growled at in an audio recording, and I know there's something there, and I think it's demonic. But when we went and did like a full investigation, it was just flat.
Oh,
and so I'm like, we have to go back because I know something's there.
Yeah. Well, when you get that feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, she hit it right there. It's your body is like the best piece of equipment that you could ever have.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is. It tells you everything. You always go with your gut. I mean, everything. Your hair stands up. You get cold. You know when something's coming by you in your personal space. Yeah.
Yeah.
You absolutely know. It's just, what do you do about it?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, what can you do? I mean, you're kind of
not much.
Yeah, your body's telling you, it's tingling. You're getting, it's telling you that there's energy around. And then if you get your hair pulled, what do you do? I have no idea. I'd be running out the door, I guess.
My very first investigation, I was like trying so hard to be professional. I wanted to impress the group and be like, guys, like, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I'm, keep me on the team. Like, I'm an asset. And so we went out to like it's a little ghost town outside of Pampa. It's, it's nothing big. It's just, we have a member of the group who knows the owners, and they let us go out there. And they have, so they have elementals, and they'll have, you'll see little spirits sometimes. Nothing major, and it's not like a establishment that people can really go to because there's nothing out there. And so I was like, I got this. Like, I'm gonna do so good. I've been watching ghost hunting shows for 20 years. I know how to do everything. And, and I was so proud of myself. And I knew I was going to impress everybody. And we're out there, we're walking around, and we start packing up our stuff because we decide it's time to go. We feel like whatever's out there is kind of getting frustrated with us. So we're like, we're going to go home. And I feel something just like grab my face. And I screamed so loud, and I was so embarrassed because I was like trying so hard to put on this professional image. And I just screamed like I was, completely incapable of handling the paranormal.
I have to laugh. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you.
Not me.
I think
they were.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Everyone out there was just like, no, like it's fine. It's completely normal. I'm just like, no, it's so embarrassing.
And I have to laugh because I think that we've all been there at one point in time, that we feel that we can tackle anything. And then we have something happen and we're like, oh my God, we're running,
Exactly.
Oh man, that's good. So you've no doubt learned from that mistake, right?
Absolutely. There's a couple of things I'm like, I know if I see, this, or like if this happens, I'm probably going to scream, and I just have to accept that. But I'm definitely better at not just being like, oh my God, and like freaking out if I see it's a shadow.
Sometimes your body just does that, though. I mean, it's invading your personal space. And if something grabs you that you don't want to grab you, your natural reaction is fight or flight.
That's true.
Right. And we all know that, we all know, and I'm still laughing about you saying that. This is, the paranormal is, of course, it's subjective. First off, it's really a big psychological, it has that effect on you psychologically. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. They watch these shows, and of course there's back-to-back evidence, and then certain paracelebs are calling out these spirits and things like that, and they don't really understand that when you're in that situation, what it's like, because they're just seeing what TV shows want you to see.
Yeah, you sit there for 8 hours, hyper focused, trying to hear any sound or see any movement, and it just kind of puts your brain in a different sort of area, different space than kind of just out on the street minding your own. And I found when I will go to a gas station sometimes to grab a drink after, or like in the middle or after an investigation, and like I'll hear like a door open, and I'm like we're in a public place right now. Somebody opened a door. Like I don't need to be paying attention to that.
So Anna, tell us this: how many times have you sat in a place for 24 hours and got absolutely nothing? That was for you, Anna.
Not applicable. I was in there thinking, not applicable. That doesn't apply.
Oh, does it apply? So you get things that happen all the time then?
Oh, yeah. It's never silent. It's always something.
And Laura, what about you? Do you get stuff quite often?
We get stuff pretty often. There have been a few times where we'll go somewhere and it's just dead. Like we don't hear anything. We don't see anything. And we're just like, well, that sucks. That's unfortunate. But usually on the places that we know for sure something's happening, like there'll be a picture or there'll be an EVP, and you're just like, oh, well, at least we caught something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
well, I mean, if you go and don't catch anything, you still went for the experience.
Yes.
Exactly. It's so much fun just like standing in a dark building, like yelling into the abyss, be like, hello, are you here?
Do something. Knock on a wall. Do something.
Someday your grandkids are going to say, Grandma, what did you do when you was younger? You say, well, I sat in the dark talking to myself.
Exactly.
I waited for responses, and if I talked back to myself, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
So what, Laura, what big things do you have planned for your group?
We've got a few local investigations that we've probably got going on this year. My best friend, Tanya, she's the leader of the group. Her boyfriend, my partner, and I are all going to go back down to Ballinger later this year, which we're really excited about. It's going to be Tanya's boyfriend's first paranormal investigation and my partner's first paranormal investigation. So we're taking them to one of the haunted places we could think of.
Nice.
And we're hoping, it's not a guarantee, but we're pretty sure we're going to be able to get into the Nazareth and Mineral Wells and the Baker and Mineral Wells this year. And I think that's going to be kind of like the highlight of anything we're able to do. I feel like anything is going to pale in comparison to getting into the Baker. So
tell me a little, what's the Mineral Wells? Tell me about it. Is it water or?
So Mineral Wells it's a little town. How do directions work? West of Fort Worth. And it's where my family's from. And it used to be kind of like a big celebrity hotspot because they've got these underwater springs that have the minerals, the mineral wells. And have you ever heard of Crazy Water?
I have, yes.
That's from Mineral Wells.
So that happy water, the happy feeling?
Yep.
Oh, I want some of that so bad.
It's so good. Don't drink too much, though, because it'll mess up your tummy.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you could have like one glass of it, and then you get the benefits. If you drink much more than that, then you get too many benefits.
Oh. Well,
and not,
I take it a little bit slow.
And not the kind of benefits, that's good for you.
Exactly. And so it's...
So when do you think they're going to go?
Hopefully this summer. It is a matter of when they get the floors in and let us go in, because they like celebrities used to go, and it used to be like the big hot spot where people would go and you know, bathe in mineral water because we thought that would cure us of all of our ails. And so they built this giant hotel, the Baker Hotel, gorgeous Art Deco decor, just absolutely beautiful building. And then people stopped going because people stopped believing that if you bathe in special water, you're going to get better. And so they started losing money. The owner stopped paying taxes. And then in like the 70s, it shut down and nobody did anything with it. And then it would get bought and the tax debt would be too high. So it would get sold again. And then probably 2019, they decided, like, somebody with enough money to do something with it bought it and has been renovating it ever since, and had to take all the asbestos out and like rip a lot of floors out. So it's not really like safe for people to go into.
Well, you know, when
we're going to be able to.
If that starts,
oh,
you know, there's
sure.
a lot of activity stirred up. You already know what I'm talking
Absolutely. I want to get in there before it's completely done because I'm like, you guys are just messing up all kinds of stuff. And when we were kids, like everyone knew it was haunted. Like when we were kids, people would break in and
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm just super excited that the Baker is
coming
back and they're gonna like make it a nice place again. But it's also a super cool paranormal place.
That's nice. Awesome. I've wanted to do the Baker Hotel for a long time.
I was really bitter when somebody else got into the Baker before I did. My aunt met that particular person, and she didn't have the best things to say.
Oh, jeez.
But hopefully we get in. I'll invite you guys.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I hope you do. I really hope so. That would be awesome.
It's a huge place, so the more people, the better.
Yeah, I'd go. Shit, I want some of that mineral water. I want some of that goofy happy water, man.
Everyone's looking for ghosts. She's looking for mineral water.
The Crazy Water Hotel is right across from the Baker, right across the street from the Baker. So you can just mosey on over and get some.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Coming back to me now when I saw it on TV. That's right. I completely forgot about that.
It doesn't make you high. I will tell you that. The mineral water does not induce a feeling of intoxication.
Well, that would kind of if it did and you tried to investigate, that would be a bad thing.
That would be funny.
That'd be a whole mess.
Oh my gosh.
You'd be hearing voices, definitely not from ghosts.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
So
it cracks me up over here.
I know, I'm laughing. So what else you got going on?
I think that's our biggest stuff for investigation so far. We've started doing more advertising. We're putting stickers out, kind of advertising on Facebook and Instagram, trying to get more of those private investigations, because I wasn't in the group before COVID. But what I was told is they used to get 1 or 2 a month, sometimes more. And that's kind of died down since COVID. So we're trying to get back into getting those investigations set up so we can start doing that more regularly.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, COVID really put a damper on a lot of things. And
yeah.
I mean, and it's at least it's getting better. I mean, with vaccines, things like that, people are getting out more and doing more things. People are starting to to trust other people, so to speak.
They are.
Right.
So,
There's the old I think it's a prison, the state prison in Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're renting that out for investigations now. So
Which one? Which specific one?
The one with the Centennial cells, the one in Jefferson City, Missouri State Penitentiary.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up because if that's true, we can all pack a bag.
I know. I think it's like $100 a person or something like that, which is
oh my gosh, that's not bad for the whole night. You got the whole thing.
Exactly.
yeah, do you get the whole thing?
I think you get the whole thing.
That's awesome.
And it just depends on like how many, if you can rent for like a certain number of hours. I think you get like 8 hours for $100, and
Right.
I don't think you can
Wow.
necessarily be like, I don't know if you can just like book like only your group or what, but
Most places will let you. It depends on the price, though. That's usually the price gets pretty high if it's just going to be a private thing with you and your team.
yeah, that can get pretty expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I stick to to private investigations. So tell me, what is I don't have to know this because I love asking this question. What is the number one piece of equipment that you use the most?
Mm-hmm.
I use my audio recorder the most. Even when I don't have even if I don't have anything else set up, I've got the audio recorder going.
Oh,
And
nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Like a recorder or like the recorder from your phone?
I have 3 recorders that I use.
Nice.
So I just have like a little recorder, and like I'll set one in a room, and then I've got one that I'll carry around with me. But I've always got a recorder going.
So let me ask you something that piqued my interest. When you do the rest of these and catch all these EVPs, you said you had like 3 recorders. Did you ever pick up something, that wasn't on the other one? Like, did some of them, different recorders, sometimes you can't pick up something, or it's meant for one person to hear, not everybody?
Yeah, I've had that happen. It probably only like once, maybe twice. And with that, I don't know if it's just the recorder was on the other side of the room, or if it was just like, I'm going to whisper this to you and no one else can hear it.
Gotcha.
But I don't usually have them like right next to each other. I might try that next time though.
Well, I've had that happen, Anna. I've had I've had my recorder, and then I've had my camcorders going, and maybe the cam would pick something up and the audio recorder wouldn't, and vice versa.
Yep. I remember taking my mom on an investigation, and I was catching stuff, and she was right next to me with her recorder that I bought her, and we were in South Carolina doing the haunted church and cemetery, and I was standing right next to her, and I got things that she didn't get, and she looked at me and she said, "Let me use your recorder." Like, oh, okay. Like, I don't think it works that way, but go ahead.
like yours is special or something.
Yeah, I was like, okay, but the thing was, when I got hers back, there was a couple of EVPs on it too.
And see, that's why I like to ask what the most used piece of equipment is, because my most used piece of equipment would also be an audio recorder. Some people they like REM pods, and then or their K2 meters or whatever, and they like to pair that with their audio recorders. Me, I just use my body, and I have REM pods and I have Mel meters and things like that, but I really like the old school way of doing it.
The audio recorders, I think, is the best way to get like evidence you can share.
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
you can go to someone and be like, "Our light lit up." And they're like, "Okay."
Right.
That's cool. Like, no, the light went all the way to red. And that doesn't mean anything to them.
You'd be like, Woohoo! What does it all mean? But no, I totally get it. That's why I asked. And do you use like ghost boxes or anything like that?
We have spirit boxes. I use the SB11. We got a couple of the SB7s, and I think honestly the SB7s are just still better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Well, see, my SB7 works perfect.
Yeah, and that's what she was just saying. Laura was just saying that.
Yeah.
They prefer the SB7s.
Yeah, that's what
I was like, I'm gonna get the fancy one. It does AM and FM. It's gonna be so cool. And it's not as good.
I know. It's like you're so excited and then you're let down.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the K2s. We have a couple of DVR systems that we use. I ended up just having to buy a whole TV because we would go places and they wouldn't have anything that we could connect the DVRs to. So we just tote a whole TV to investigations. Got the Spirit Box, the REM pod.
What about like a flux?
Camera?
Do you have a flux? A flux tube?
We do have a flux.
Nice.
We do have a flux. We've got a FLIR, which is really fun. One of the people in the group has got a millimeter. One of the people has a portal, which we just recently started kind of testing out. I don't know how I feel about it yet. We'll find out. And then I can't remember what it's called now that I'm trying to talk about it. It's like a little triangle, like a little triangular prism, and it lights up red or green depending on if something gets close to one side of it.
That's the flux.
Oh, yeah.
Flux 2 does that.
And
yes,
I love that one. And whenever Chia is one of our members, he owns it. And whenever we're getting ready, I'm like, did you bring it? Can we put it out?
Oh my gosh! Didn't you say you had an? Oh god, I just lost my train of thought. SLS. There it is.
Yeah, we have an SLS, and we've gotten some pretty cool stuff on it. It's one of those things where we're like, look, we got a stick figure. It's evidence, and I don't know if people actually believe us, but it kind of at the very least gives us guidance for where we should focus.
Well, yeah, because we all know that sensor, it's just an Xbox sensor. We know that throws out millions of little dots, and those dots try to put things together, even if it itself causes its own pareidolia and tries to put stick figures together. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
we've had
it's a great tool if you can match it to something credible.
Exactly. I like to use it to be like, where do we need, there's a stick figure in this room, we should put a piece of equipment in this room, or we need to put a camera in this room because at the very least something is here. If it's a spirit, awesome, we might get something. If it's dust, then it's dust, but it gives us an idea of kind of, instead of just, we've got this whole hospital, let's, what do we do? There's something in this room.
Right.
That's how you should do it.
What would you just say, Anna?
I said that's how you should do it.
Yes, I agree. So what other, when you do an investigation, and now if I'm wrong, just let me know. When you conduct your investigations, do you learn everything you can about the place first? Or do you not, you just go in blindly, and then as you're reviewing evidence, how do I want to say this? When you do your evidence, do you get it at the end and then match your your
research
EVPs and things to it, or do you go in like you know everything, you got all the story, and you work off of that? Did you understand it?
Yeah, no, I personally prefer.
Anna, quit thinking about the mineral water.
Hey.
She won some. Just run down to United. They've got some at United.
See, that's what happens. See, she's so worried about that mineral water, she's even forgetting what she wants to say.
Hey, it came back to me.
I personally prefer it if I had the option every time. I wouldn't know anything ahead of time, and then just see what I get, and then if that matches something, then awesome. I mean, that's not always an option, though. A lot of times when you're talking with the homeowner, they're going to tell you everything. Or when you go to like a public location, you know, it's going to have been on Ghost Hunters or the other show, or
right. Public's like the worst.
Yeah, because like you're gonna know something, and so I think that makes it harder to review evidence. Because when you're, you know, listening for EVPs, be like, somebody died here. It could be like, it'll just be static and be like, it said I was murdered. and and so it's easier to not know anything. That's just not always possible.
Right.
That's different.
And it kind of goes like, I was the same way. I would go by what the homeowner or business owner would say, and then I'd write it all down. And, you know, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, you know, I should have went about it as do the investigation. I don't want to know nothing, and then get the information and try to validate it from the evidence we've caught.
Yeah, no, in a perfect world, we'd be able to do it that way, I think.
I think so too.
He says in a perfect world.
and I haven't investigated since 2018. I stepped away from my group that I had. I closed it down, and I moved back to Pennsylvania. So, I mean, just talking to people since I started this podcast, the way people work now, there's a big difference from when I did it from back in the day. I mean, I'm
thinking about that.
I didn't have all the stuff that people have now. When I first started, I mean, you had a tape recorder, and you had, you know,
yourself.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I didn't even when I did it, there was no internet. So you're like, how do you know? But that's why I always go with the audio recorders and myself, because it's like, where did the voices come from? You're nowhere that there's any voices. Where does it come from? So you're pulling them out of the air. To me, it's very fascinating. That's one of the most credible pieces of evidence, I believe, anyway.
I think it's definitely the best to show to an owner, a homeowner, an owner of a public location, what have you, because with video, a lot of times that could be anything. With the audio recorder, it'd be like, this is obviously none of our voices.
Right. And if you're someplace, let's say you're in a hotel and nobody's around, and you're doing EVP sessions, and some little girl or little boy says something, and you're like, where did that come from?
Exactly.
That's what I would be doing. I'd be like, wait, what?
Exactly. It's like, where does it come from? There ain't nobody here. It's just us. Where did this little boy's voice come from?
That would, see that I'd have to get to the bottom of it.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. Then it's like, now you're really delving into the history of the place, because especially if it's a business, people don't want nobody to know that some child died in their hotels or whatever.
That's true.
So it's just it's a long process after that. I mean, you might get locals, they might tell you, You might find something about it, maybe going to, the local newspaper or something.
Locals love to tell a lot, but they also mix in, the truth and the myth.
They do.
So it's hard to kind of distinguish sometimes.
Right. And I think a lot of like local people, not all of them now, of course you got to weed them out, but most of them will be truthful when they're telling you something like that. It's just the news and stuff are going to make it different because they're trying to protect the business as well.
Right. And if they've been there like their whole life, those are the ones I like to talk to. If I get into a town and I'm doing, even if I'm not doing the research, if I just walk up and people see, my outfit, I'll start asking people, do you know this place? And people that have been there and, have their kids and their grandkids there, they're the ones to talk to.
Right. Laura,
they could tell you all of it.
Go ahead, Anna.
Oh, no, that's it. They could tell you just everything, myth, legend, or truth.
Yes, exactly. And they're going to tell you wholeheartedly. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They're just going to tell you right out.
Right.
So, Laura, let me ask you this question. What is your expertise in this group?
That's a good question. I don't actually know if I have an expertise yet.
But what's your forte? What's the thing that you like to do the most? What is it that you're in charge of?
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is the EVPs. And I'm always trying to get the group to settle down and be like, okay, let's do an EVP session, or let's do a spirit box session, and always trying to just get something going to try and get as much evidence as we can.
So do you do the analysis of the EVPs?
I do. We all, to a degree, we all have our own equipment, so we'll kind of analyze our own equipment. But, whenever anyone sends something to me, I do my own analysis and kind of go off of that. And I don't know if that is just because I grew up kind of watching the ghost hunting shows and seeing how they did it and listening in for that and be what is the best way we can do this or what. But I definitely think I kind of put a bigger focus on analyzing those EVPs.
So would you, let's just say this, if one of your teammates, they have audio, okay, from an investigation that you was at as well, and they go through it and they write down all their things that they find out of there, and they mark the times. Now, do they give it to you and then you do the same thing, and after it's done you kind of compare?
Sometimes what we'll do though is just we'll send the section and be what do you hear, instead of doing here, listen to the whole 8-hour recording or whatever. Be okay, here's a chunk, what do you hear in this chunk?
Sure, yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying, except I went the long route around it. So yeah, you send these little snippets, but yes, because each person hears different things, they're going to get a different point of view each time they listen to it.
Exactly.
So
sometimes you can't hear something if you, by the 10th time you've heard it, you can finally pick up on it. But sometimes it's there, you just got to dig for it.
Right. And it's if I would give you this piece of clip that you need to listen to, and I say this is what it is, well, you're already going to know, because it's already being instilled to you what it says. That's why I was just curious on how.
Exactly. We've had a couple of times where, like, someone will be like, I think this is what I hear. And then everyone will be like, yeah, that's what it is. And then we'll go listen to it again and be like, I don't think that's what it is. But, like, we're listening in and be like, okay, I think they're saying, you know, this, that, or the other. So I'm going to be listening for this, that, or the other.
Right, right. All right. Anna, what else you got? Anna, you still with us? I think I'm
here.
I was going to say, I think you went for that mineral water.
My cat got a hold of my earphones. Not a play toy.
So what else you got for, Anna?
I'm sorry, what?
What else you got for? Do you have any questions for her?
I had one going back. Let's see, where are my notes? Hang on, I wrote it down.
I think she has some great things that she talked about, and I'm excited to see where she's going to go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I found it. On that land where the Native Americans were, all that. Did you happen to look into if there were ley lines that happen to cross over?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
we didn't. I'm not even honestly sure where I would look that up.
You can go to the library and they can show you some of the books on their what they call footprinting from doing the ground up, and you can use some of those places. You can see if there's anything that to them it doesn't look normal, but we would know what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look that up.
Pole to pole area.
I'm gonna look that up and then I'm gonna send that to you guys. Yeah,
that's awesome. That would be great.
Yeah, that was definitely a good question. I didn't even think about that.
So I'm here.
No, I wasn't thinking about mineral water. So
I was about to say, if I'm on the mineral water, then you need to get some because get on this level.
All right. Well, Laura, you know what? We had a fantastic time talking to you, and I'm really excited to see where you and your team is going to go.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it was great to hear what you have going on and hear some of your experiences. And I hope to have you back on sometime.
Absolutely. We're friends on Facebook now, so just let me know.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to be like, "Hey, I'm coming. Me and Anna's coming. We're going to be checking your ground. We're going to be bringing shovels." So
yeah, we bring shovels, everything.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on tonight.
Yeah, Laura, that was great. Thank you so much.
All right. All right, folks. So there you have it. So that was Laura Copp, and she was with Palo Duro Paranormal. So if you need to reach out to them, you can find them on Facebook. And I'm telling you, folks, this is a good team. They know what they're doing. So, yeah. But, all right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. And hope to have you on the next episode of Paranomaly. So here's a word of caution. As you know, be careful when you're getting a team to investigate your home or business. Because, you wouldn't just have anybody in your house, would you? So do some research. Hey, thanks for tuning in tonight, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff. And if you believe you have something paranormal happening in your home or business, hey, send us an email or get a hold of us on Facebook. But you can reach us at paranomalypodcast@gmail.com. You can also visit us at www.paranomalypodcast.com for more content. And thank you again for watching or listening. We hope to see you for the next episode. Thank you.